Hey there, welcome into the Ben Maynard program. Thanks for being here. Before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping. I want to remind everyone the program is available on multiple podcast outlets like Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, amongst others. Or simply search the Ben Maynard program and then choose your option. You have multiple options to choose from. Of course, if you can't resist all this right here, then you can watch it on YouTube. And if you do watch on YouTube, I ask that you would please subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and leave a comment. Last but not least, follow me on Instagram, simply Ben Maynard Program. So there are plenty of ways to take in the program for your dancing and listening pleasure. Now, before we get going, I'll recap the last show. That was my review of the Aldo Nova concert in Vegas. Really good stuff. And if you love Aldo Nova, you're going to love the episode. You really are. Just an artist that I think that if you're late to the party, it's never too late. Take it in and get it done. So with that, we have a really, really special show today. You can see sitting across from me is my very good friend, Anthony Maris. And as he's known in our circle of friends, in our world, he's known to us as Spaz. So yeah, I just wanted to thank you for coming in and being on the show today.
I'm looking forward to having our conversation about Journey.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a lot of fun. So Spaz just kind of let the cat out of the bag.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
Oops. You're not supposed to know about this show.
No, that's okay. So what we're doing today is we are going to rank the Journey studio albums. I don't want to say from worst to first. I like that because it rhymes, but then it makes it sound like the last one is just, it's the worst, it's terrible, and nobody likes it. That's not the point. We're going to rank them from our least favorite to our favorite. Okay? Maybe that's a better way of putting it. How's that? So that's what we're doing. And I will say this, and I know you're going to agree with me, and you might want to get a little closer to the microphone. I just take it closer to you.
Okay.
You and I, in our world, we're the biggest Journey geeks, right?
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
Yeah, we're the ones that have been with Journey forever, and continue to be Journey fans. And we go deep into Journey, right?
Yeah, back in the 70s.
So but we go deep into their catalog as well. We're not just fans of the hit songs, right? No,
we're a fan of their old music all the way from the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. And oh my gosh, you and I how many times have we seen Journey? We've seen that band countless times, right?
Many times.
Many
With
times.
Many different lead singers, but yes, we have.
Yeah. So I've told my audience that for me, my 1 and 1A bands, and it just depends on the week, are Kiss and Journey. 1 week Kiss is going to be my favorite. The next week Journey is going to be my favorite.
That works.
So it just it just depends on what kind of mood I'm in that week. Although I will be honest here, Journey's been my favorite for quite a while now lately. Maybe since the Kiss live albums ranked. Maybe that's Journey's been my favorite since then. But anyway, so we're going to have a lot of fun with this. Spaz did his list and I've done my list. We haven't discussed it with one another at all. I asked him to take on this task, and go ahead, show your notes. He came prepared. I love it. Sure.
Just like that.
Yeah, but show everybody the pile of paperwork you have here.
Yeah. Loads of paper.
Yeah, see, so he's got a whole pile of notes here and all kinds of good stuff. And I don't even know what he brought, but I'm looking forward to it because this is going to be a ton of fun. But before we get to that, and I have to read now, so the glasses come on.
Yeah.
But what I'd like for you to do first is talk a little bit about where, if you can remember back to when your love of music began.
That's a long time ago.
Well,
I
yeah, of
mean,
course.
going back to the 70s, when
Mhm.
listening to all the rock and roll bands in the early 70s, and finally made up a journey in 1977, which was the close to the Infinity album coming out. With that just started everything from there. It was really
Move
good music.
move the microphone
No.
a little closer to you. You don't have to. That's all right.
Yeah.
Hey, look, this is all live stuff. Everybody knows that. We don't edit anything. We hit record and we go all the way to the end. So flubs and
Sorry about
warts and all. but
Sorry.
yeah, just move the microphone a little closer to you because
All right.
you don't shout like I do.
Okay. Well, I can. I choose not to.
No, that's all right. But yeah, but just talk about if you can remember back to when you first fell in love with music.
That's hard to say. I would say in the early 70s, there were a lot of different bands out there that
Right.
were very old, and Jim Croce was the guy I listened a lot to, and
Right.
of course Elton John. I
Mhm.
mean, he goes back to the 70s.
Sure.
Led Zeppelin. I mean, I like all kinds of music, when it really comes down to it. But at the end of the day, Journey was awesome. It was done.
Right. I mean, I'm not going to rehash the story about when I first fell in love with music. I've told the story a couple of times on the program, so I don't want to bore the audience with that. So I'm not going to do that again. But I think it's fascinating to go back and try to pinpoint a time when it's like, this was it for me. This was when I recall I heard something when it was on the radio. I heard my mom and dad playing something, whatever it was. And it's like, oh, music, that's it.
Yeah.
And then you just had to consume music, no matter what it was at the time, because certainly, I mean, you and I, we're only a year apart in age. And for everybody out there, we have known each other for about 45 years.
Yeah.
we go back to before high school, that's for sure, about junior high. So and I just think that's such a fascinating thing if it's one moment that you can remember about that for anyone. And then you take it from there. And of course, being like I started to say, being the age that we are, in the early 70s, 72, 73, we're 7-8 years old, and we're listening to whatever, for the most part, our parents are listening to, I'm sure, whether on the radio or albums that they might play in the house, that kind of thing. And so maybe it's something that, maybe it's a genre that we connect with at that time, and we just stay with it throughout our entire lives. Or maybe it just starts us on a path, and we begin to venture out and listen to different genres. And I know this, you and I'm gonna get into this because I want you to get into it.
Okay.
Early on, you were a big singles guy.
Yeah.
You had a ton of 45s. For the younger members of the audience out there, 45 is a 7-inch acetate disc that plays at a speed of 45 RPM. So it's just a smaller version of the album. Anyway, but you were a singles guy, right?
Yeah.
And
an awful lot of them.
Yeah. And you used to decorate the walls in your bedroom with the sleeves.
Yeah. Got it. And well, now they're with the records now. My parents actually have all my records. I don't play them anymore because we have CDs now, so we don't play them anymore.
Right. But I always thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Was that, we'd go hang out at your house and do whatever we were doing, but you go in the bedroom and all these 45 sleeves are taped to the wall, or however it was that you mounted them to the wall. And but it wasn't just like it wasn't just a particular genre. You were running the gamut on those singles.
Yeah, there were different bands at that time, not just Journey. I mean, AC/DC for one. the Go-Go's.
Right.
I mean, I had all kinds of sleeves for all kinds of different bands.
Well, and
So
especially when once we started to get into high school and we were more listening to the radio on our own, and we would listen to top 40 radio.
yeah,
So that, to me, that's where I think our exposure to many different genres began. Outside of disco in the 70s,
yeah,
so I thought that was really cool to to see all those singles up on the wall in your bedroom.
yeah.
And
I thought it was neat.
oh
It
yeah.
was a lot of fun to do that, to put them out there.
And then what was the name of the store where you used to buy most of your music?
Well, there are several places, but I know Levels is one of them,
Right.
and then so was No Rock Records, and
Mhm.
there was another one, but I've lost the name of it.
Was that was Music Revolution?
There, well, that was the old. Yeah, there's another. I think a name. There's a name right after that, but I don't
Okay.
remember what music
Okay.
represents.
Yeah, and it I remember at Music Revolution, and this is when you started buying albums,
Yeah,
that they used to have a 12-inch picture of the album cover.
right.
So you would go buy the album, but then you used to buy these 12-inch pictures of the album cover.
Yeah.
So it was almost like you had the album cover plastered all over the bedroom wall also.
Yeah, I mean, there was just a lawful lot of sleeves on top of all.
So where I had Kiss posters on my wall, Spaz had all the album covers and the 45
Yeah.
sleeve covers on his bedroom wall. So, definite music lovers here, for the two of us, and just enjoying many different genres of
Yeah.
music at that time. So, let me see here. In my notes, I know something else I wanted to say, so I got to put these things back on here. So, okay. I'm hoping I know the answer to this one. Your first concert. Tell the audience about your first concert.
Oh, Journey, of course. That was the first concert. Went to.
Oh no,
Yo,
I'm not gonna. I hate to correct you right here. I hate to
I
correct you
can't. Wait a second.
on the air.
So you're telling me when I okay? Well, tell me then, since you know.
Well, actually, I spoke about it. I don't know. I think on one of the episodes
I've gone
here.
on an awful lot of shows.
Your first concert was my second concert, and that was in February of 1982. You and I went to see Foreigner. Right?
Yeah,
we went to see Foreigner at the Forum. Talk about that one. Talk about it. Look,
I don't.
I don't want to talk about. I don't want to monopolize the whole program. That's not the point.
I just don't remember. 1982. I don't remember that far back. Lucky, I was born in '64, but darn, I don't remember what happened when I was born. So it's a long time ago.
Here's the thing. When it comes to our circle of friends, fortunately, well, I don't know if it's fortunate or not, because there are probably things that I remember that these guys don't want me to remember. But everybody says that I am the keeper of our memories, our childhood memories. So, for better or for worse. So maybe that's why you don't remember that show much.
Yeah. Okay. You're right. Worst of it. Anyway.
But do you remember what you were thinking or what your thought was when? And now the Michael Stanley Band was the opener that night, and they weren't huge, not on the West Coast, but they had a huge following in the Midwest, especially the Cleveland area. But they were really good. I do remember that. But do you remember anything or what you thought or what you were feeling when your band Foreigner took the stage?
I was just looking forward to hearing the songs I like, but during a couple hour show they played an awful lot of good stuff. I don't remember any of my songs in particular that I enjoyed, but everything that I liked, they played all the sets, everything that I explicitly thought they would play.
Mm-hmm.
So they played them, and boy, it was a great show.
It was a great show. Yeah. That was for the Foreigner 4 tour.
Yeah,
and I remember we just got a blast. So we got a kick out of when they played Jukebox Hero. Yeah. And they had the inflatable jukebox at the back of the stage. And as soon as the song ended, that last drum beat, the jukebox blew up.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
remember that.
it was not a real uh, elaborate stage set. I do remember that it wasn't real elaborate. It was very clean lines, uh, great lighting. I do remember that, and I just remember being uh, just so pumped up to see Foreigner. I mean, Foreigner, obviously, they were mega huge at
Yeah,
that time, and that's another one of the bands that's I know is right up there for the two of us, probably
yeah,
like top five. Because that's
yeah.
another
I
that's
think
another
so.
band out of the 70s that we grew up listening to, and we
Mhm.
were in at the ground level with those guys.
Yeah,
You know, so
when they first started out.
right, with that very first album.
Yeah,
So I know that's the one thing that I was looking forward to most about that show. Do you remember how we got there?
I believe your mom drove us there.
She wouldn't let me drive the
If I
car.
remember right, yeah. Ben was only 16 at that time, so
Yeah, and she wouldn't let me drive the car. We lived probably about 40 miles away from the venue where the concert was, and it wasn't in 1982. Let's just say it wasn't the greatest part of town. And I thought right up until the night of the show that my mom was letting us take the car, to the show, but she didn't. She dropped us off, and what a sport! She went all the way back home, and then
yeah,
she came
came
back
all the
and
way
got
back.
us. And I remember that we were so jacked up after that. I mean, we bought our T-shirts that night, and the thing was, and I'm sure most everybody out in the audience will remember this too. The big thing was you went to a concert, you got the T-shirt, and you wore it to school the next day. You didn't
Yeah,
miss school the next day. You went to school the next day wearing that T-shirt because you had to.
proudly.
Oh, absolutely!
Yeah,
You had to show
yeah,
everybody that you were
yeah,
there the night before.
yeah,
Yeah, that was just that was good stuff.
yeah.
So let me see what else do I have here. Ah, oh, I think that's it right now before we get into our list because we're certainly gonna talk a lot of Journey here. I hope so, being that this is going to be, the Journey studio albums ranked from our least favorite to our
Yeah,
favorite, right?
right.
We're gonna
Yeah.
want to talk some
I mean,
Journey.
they're all good. It's just a matter of, speaking of your opinion of which one is better or, than the other, but
Of
they're all
course.
really good.
Of course, it's all
I
personal preference.
mean,
There's no right or wrong to any of this. And like I always say, um, you know, music hits everybody a little bit differently,
yeah,
and a certain song might have an effect on you one way and an effect on me another way.
sure.
So, and in the way it affects us might make us feel like, oh well, I like this song, and well, no, I don't really like this song. So
Yeah,
it like I said, it's all subjective, and it's the way it makes you feel. The
yeah.
bottom line is Journey's our favorite band,
It
and we're going
is.
to celebrate their studio albums right
Yeah,
here, right
right
now.
now.
so let so
Okay.
let's get this ball rolling. Now, I I
Okay.
I, I brought out all of the I brought all of the CD covers. Some of them are in the case,
Yeah.
but I have them all here, all 16. There's 16 of them, and I'll explain that in a minute. But I hid them behind me because I didn't want
Yeah.
you to see.
I saw them anyway. He
Yeah.
didn't. He didn't know, but I saw them
Well,
anyway.
yeah, they're kind of sticking out right here on the bookshelf.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I want to hide them right here on my lap because now Spaz has his list right here, and I will not look at it. I will not look at it, even though it's staring me in the face. But I won't look at it because I don't want to spoil it.
I
I,
even sent him a copy, and he still won't look
you
at
sent
it.
me a copy?
Yeah, I emailed you a copy of this.
When did you email me a
Well, not
copy?
email. Actually, I texted you.
You texted?
I
Wow.
texted you.
Okay. Well, good for me that I didn't even look at
You
it.
didn't even
Yeah.
know.
All right. I ignored it. Good. All right. Well, let me
So,
get these right here. And I can tell you this. Ay. Okay. Let me put it this way there. Because now you can't see the names
I
for the
don't.
most part. Just don't look.
I'm looking at the screen.
So, okay. So the way we've done this, like I said, is we're going to rank them from our least favorite to our favorite. So we're going to go bottom to top. There are 16 studio albums. Um, technically there are 17 studio albums. These are no compilations, no greatest hits, nothing like that. But for this exercise, we are not including the Dream After Dream CD or album, simply because it's a Japanese import, and really it was just a soundtrack for a Japanese movie. So outside of 3 tracks that had vocals, the rest is completely instrumental. So it really doesn't fit into this exercise. Okay. Agreed?
Agreed.
Yeah. And then we are including the one EP, Red 13, right?
That's correct.
All right. So we have a total of 16. Okay. And like I said, Spaz did his homework, and I so love that. I knew he would, but I so love it because that's dedication here. And that's what you do for the band that you love.
Oh,
and as you can see here too, you can see, look, he came with his Journey concert t-shirt. I'm wearing my Journey concert t-shirt. Now, I don't know if you can see. Tell us which one that is.
The Revelations tour.
And that's the first tour with Arnel Pineda, correct?
That's correct.
Yep. So that was what, 07, 08, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it says
08. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. And for me, my Journey t-shirt is one that I got in 1998, December of 1998. I went to a show with this guy right here at the Wiltern Theater.
Oh, that's right.
In LA. And we saw the return of Journey, the introduction of Steve Augeri to the Journey world. And that's where this t-shirt comes from. It was a small tour. I believe they did 6 cities. They did all small theaters.
Yeah. Wiltern was very small.
And it was about 3,000 seater. And it was called Vacation's Over.
Yeah.
You remember? And so that's where this t-shirt comes from. So, so we're sporting our Journey t-shirts, and man, I'll tell you, before we get going, just because I brought it up, what a killer show that was.
It was a very good show. They sound better inside than they do outside sometimes.
Well, I think sometimes
Wiltern was loud.
When a band plays outdoors, whether it's an amphitheater or like we saw them in Vegas at June Fest in 01. Yeah. Remember that? And I think what happens a lot is when it's outdoors like that, the sound can get blown out. So It doesn't carry like it does indoors in an arena or a theater or a club, that kind of thing. So you can really, really enjoy that much more. But boy, they were on fire that night. They were on fire. I just, man, I thought that they just really tore the roof down on that place.
Yeah, they did. They did a really good job.
Yeah. Okay.
Great show.
So we're going to get started, and I'm going to let my guest go first and reveal his number 16.
My number 16 is what I'm wearing. The Generations CD.
You mean Revelations?
Revelations, sorry.
Yeah.
And I got this jersey, and I got the shirt, and I also got the CD at that show that was given away for free.
Okay.
And 3 of those songs on that album was pretty good. Faith in the Heartland, Every Generation, and Better Together. 3 great songs. I mean, the album was good. But there's 16 albums to score. So I started with this album first, that being 16.
Okay. And that one, Faith in the Heartland, that was a re-record of a Steve Augeri song off of the Generations album, the one prior to that. Now, I mean, there was never any word out as to why Journey did that, but
no word.
But they re-recorded that one. Yep. Okay. So that one comes in at number 16, right?
Yep.
Okay. And for me, number 16, Eclipse. Oh, Eclipse.
Now you see it now.
Put it at the bottom. Yeah, Eclipse. And that one is Journey's second studio album with Arnel Pineda. And with that one, they let me look at here. Oh, there we go. For me, look, I'll be honest. I haven't given this one a lot of listens. But The one song I guess that would stand out to me the most would be Resonate. I will say this about the Eclipse album. It is, it might be, it might be one of Journey's heavier albums. I won't say their heaviest, but it might be one of their heavier ones.
A lot of rock and roll in
yeah, a lot of heavier stuff, and a lot of long songs on it. A lot of long songs, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, right, absolutely. And a lot of Neil Sean guitar work.
Yeah,
and on the, like I said, and on the heavier side, and that's not bad. That's not bad. I love it when Journey gets heavy, but for me, this one, it doesn't, there's nothing that stands out about it. They had released 3 singles off of it. And there's really nothing that happened to them. Those singles really didn't do much. They released City of Hope, Human Feel, and Anything Is Possible. And Anything Is Possible, what did get to number 21 on the AC chart. But really, and that was 2011. But really, the album didn't do much, and like I said, it doesn't really do much for me.
Yeah.
So
I like City of Hope. That's a great song.
Okay. So
great way to start off that album.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the rest of it, you have to listen to it and to get a better liking of it. I ain't listened to it much of it either, but it's a good album. I just didn't listen to it a lot, but I did like City of Hope. Good song.
All right. Okay. So number 15.
Number 15 is the name Journey, the Journey album. And that goes way back, the
1975. 1975.
Oh, I got that one wrong. Anyways, those songs of a lifetime and Place of Music stands out for me in that album. A lot of it's a really good mixture of the band and the way they perform the music. I kind of like the album a little bit, but like I said, 16 albums to rate.
So that one, okay. So that was, well, with that one, and I'll talk about it. I'll say right now, it's not my number 15.
It's my number. It's my number.
Your number 15.
It's my number.
And you're 15. Telling me why it's your number 15.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, of course.
It's not a bad album. It's just, I'm just saying there's 16 albums and you got to rate them all. So
listen here, folks. As 2 Journey geeks right here, there isn't a bad album in the whole catalog.
There isn't.
All right. But there's some you like more than others, and that's what this is all about.
Yep.
All right, so for me, number 15 is this one right here.
Oh,
Revelation.
Wow.
Okay. Number 15 for me. That one is Arnel Pineda's introduction to the Journey world. Now I will say this, it is their biggest selling album of the 3 that Arnel has recorded with the band. And I think it was just because of his introduction to the band, it was really heavily pushed. And of course, look, let's not fool anybody here. With Arnel coming into the band and the way that he came into the band via a YouTube video of him singing karaoke in the Philippines, where he's from, his home country. With him coming into the band, Journey picked up a huge new crop of followers.
Yeah.
And because especially when you go to that part of the world, in the Philippines and in that part of the world, I mean, Journey was always big in Japan, but Arnel was like the hometown hero. So he was like the savior of the Philippines, and that's I think that really helped push the Revelation album to the status that it gained when it came out. It actually reached number 5 on the Billboard Top 200, but it wasn't going to stay there for very long because unfortunately in the music climate of the last 15 to 20 years, people don't buy physical music anymore.
Did you ever get to see the movie Don't Stop Believing? They did something on our page where he grew up.
The documentary. I'm aware of the documentary. I have not seen it.
Oh, I've seen it several times because I haven't. Maybe you need to borrow it.
Well, I think I could.
It's pretty good.
I think I could probably just. Well, I don't know if it might be available on a streaming service, but if it's not, it'll. I know it's out on YouTube. I've seen it.
Yes.
I've seen it on YouTube many times, but I have not seen it. I have
It's
not
good.
seen it.
It's actually pretty good.
What I don't like about the Revelation album. Now, for those who are unaware, there's one. It's a 2 CD set, and there's one CD of all new material, which Spaz had said that he mentioned a few of the songs. And then there's another CD of Journey classic songs that are re-recorded with Arnell on vocals. Um, I have to be completely honest. Um, I wasn't a fan of the way they sounded. I wasn't a fan of the way his voice sounded singing that material. Um, the way I describe it is that Arnel Pineda, and look, people, Steve Perry is, for me, my number one lead singer, lead vocalist in rock and roll, period. Hands down, end of story. Okay. Um, Steve and Jerry did a great job of singing Steve Perry. Arnel Pineda has done a great job of singing Steve Perry. But when the same way it happened with Steve and Jerry, where the constant touring really took a toll on his voice, the same thing has happened with Arnel Pineda. It's taken a toll on his voice. And you can hear it if you go listen to any clips of Journey in the last 5 years. But for me, Arnel Pineda sings the notes, but Steve and Jerry, much like Steve Perry, has that soul
Yeah,
in his voice.
they had the soul in his
It
voice.
just, he has the soul in his voice. And so that's why it doesn't do much for me. So I just didn't like the way the re-records came off on Revelation. That's why it's number 15. All right.
Good enough for me.
Okay.
Good. Who can argue with you?
All right.
Good enough
Well,
for me.
hey, look, anybody can argue with me.
That,
Okay, so moving on. Number 14. What's your 14?
my number 14 is Look Into the Future.
Okay.
And the songs that stand out is Look Into the Future.
That's a good
It's All
song.
Too Much.
That's a good song.
Yeah. And anyway, but yeah, it's a pretty good album. Again, getting these albums, it's really kind of difficult to do because it's kind of unfair. I mean, because there's so many albums that are so good, it's kind of hard to just place these albums.
Yeah.
10, 11, 12, 9, 10, it's just difficult to do that.
I'll say this before I give my 14. And I don't want to get carried away because we got a long ways to go on this.
We do.
But for some folks, some really diehard Journey fans, they want to say, "Oh, I was there from the beginning." And they don't mean beginning by Steve Perry. They mean beginning with the Greg Raleigh, Neil Sean, Ross Valerie, George Tickner, and Prairie Prince. That first album. I go back to that. And that's great. That's great. I mean, for you and I, we did not start there.
No, we didn't.
We started here and we went back. But for some people, it's almost like if a band gets really, really popular, they sometimes want to jump off that bandwagon, and then they say, "Oh, I knew this band when." And so I think that's what there are some folks in the Journey camp who don't want to at times recognize the Steve Perry influence, and the Steve Perry, what it was that Steve Perry brought to the table. So they oh no, I go back to here, and this is the best stuff here. The Greg Raleigh stuff, this is the greatest. This is the best. Forget all that Steve Perry stuff. It got too commercial. It got too this. Got too that. Blah 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 blah. Well, the bottom line is the band was struggling mightily after 3 albums until Steve Perry showed up, and I'm going to get into that a little bit later, but. Yeah,
no much radio play at that time.
Oh, outside of their hometown, they weren't really getting any radio play. So anyway,
That's what makes it hard.
all right. So that was number 14 for you,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
All right. Well, my number 14. Oh, let me get it right there. Is Freedom, the
Yeah.
latest Journey release.
Oh.
Uh, that one came out in what, 2022, I think, 2021,
Yeah.
2022, something like that.
2021.
I know they were working on it for about 3 years, 4 years. It took a while to get that one out. But yeah, for me, there's nothing special about it. 15 songs. The one hit that was kind of a semi hit was The Way We Used to Be.
Yeah.
I think
So
that
yeah,
whoops.
it's a good
There it is.
song.
Yeah, the way we used to be. It only reached number 88 on the Billboard Top 200. There were 5 singles. There were 5 singles released from it. The first one, yes, The Way We Used to Be, but none of the singles charted at all. So
And they heavily advertised that song.
they did. Oh yeah, yeah. There was a lot of
They were pushing that song to be their best song, and
yeah.
um,
And it's not a bad song. I do like it. It is a good song, but like I said, there's just nothing special about there's nothing special about it for me. So that's where it sits at number 14.
yeah. Well, like I said, you know,
To each his own,
right? Yeah,
right?
right.
Okay, so give us number 13.
Number 13 is Freedom. Songs that stand out, of
Okay.
course. The Way We Used to Be. I love that song. All Day and Night and Together We Run. It was a good album. I mean, it's not the best album, but it was a good album.
Okay.
I liked it. So I
Okay.
bought it and it was really good. I
Okay.
enjoyed it.
I guess the one thing
They sound the same as how do I put this? Some of those songs sounded a lot like I can't remember the name of the album. I'll have to get back to you on that, but yeah, I mean, a lot of the music is just sounded.
it's going to come up. It's going to come up in our list here.
It's going to come up soon.
Yeah,
and then I'll let you know.
Say,
then.
Yeah, those ones sound like Freedom. Freedom sounds like this.
Yeah, they all sound. They all sound. They all meet each other. They all sound the same.
Yeah,
but they're good. I mean, they just changed the words around and just the same.
All right. So that one's your 13, right?
That was number 13.
Okay. For me, my number 13, right here. Journey's debut album.
Yeah.
Okay.
Higher ranks than mine.
Yeah. Journey's debut album. That one is that one's, like I said, that one's Greg Raleigh, Neil Schon, Ross Valerie, the 3 original founding members of the band, along with Prairie Prince on drums and George Tickner, who was on guitar and who left right after this album. And actually, George Tickner passed away not too long ago. I think it was earlier this year. George Tickner passed away.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
Yeah. So it certainly wasn't a big album. It reached 138 on the Billboard Top 200.
Well, they only had 7 tracks on it, right?
Yeah, 7. And you know what, though? But for me, the standout tracks, I really, really like Of a Lifetime.
Yeah.
I think that is a great song. I like Cahotek, which is just an all instrumental. But those two are standout tracks for me. And especially Of a Lifetime. It's a really good song. The music, the direction of the band was very different on those first 3 albums. It was more, look, you had Neil and Greg coming out of Santana. You had Ross coming from Steve Miller Band. And I think a lot of that influence from Santana played a hand in the first 3 Journey albums. A lot of jazz fusion, not so much the Latin feel, but a lot of jazz fusion on that. And musically, they're very sound.
Yeah,
they're very good. The one thing that I will say, and I think anybody in their right mind, whether you're a trained musician or not, and unfortunately, neither of us clowns are.
Oh, no.
But when it comes to Journey, you are dealing with world-class musicianship. And there's no two ways about it. So musically, these are great. Those first three albums are great, and this is great too. But for me, yeah, that's where it sits. It sits at number 13, and my favorite song is Of a Lifetime.
It's mine too.
Which I think my first introduction to that song was off of Time 3.
Yeah,
the box set.
The box set.
So I think that's the first track. That's the song that leads off the first CD on that.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. So what are we up to? We up to number 12?
Number 12. Our number 12th album, I thought, was Journey's Next. A song stand out is the Nickel and Dime, obviously, and good song, and Spaceman. Good songs. I like Nickel and Dime. That was a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But again,
what was that? Where were we? Number 12?
I was number 12.
That was Journey's Next?
Yep.
Well, you and I, we align on that one because number 12 is Next by Journey. This is the third and final album before Steve Perry's entry into the band. But yeah, the standout track, Spaceman, is a great song.
Yeah.
That is a great song. And yes, Nickel and Dime, for those who aren't aware, it's an all instrumental, but it is so good. And my introduction to that was off of Time 3 also.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I purchased Time 3 and became familiar with those Greg Raleigh tunes that I went back and picked up the first three Journey CDs.
That's exactly what happened. Is you were able to see on the box set. Now there's some good songs on this. Where are we getting these from? And then the three albums.
Right. And Nickel and Dime, I've always loved that track, and I had always hoped to hear that live, and of course, never did until it was, I believe it was 2005. It was when the band released the Generations album, and they did, their tour was called A Night with Journey, and they were doing like a 3-hour set.
Hours. Yeah, I went to that show.
And they started from the beginning, and they went all the way to the current stuff.
That was pretty long.
It was. It was. Long show. And it was a great show. Yeah. And I was okay. It's a night with Journey, an evening journey, whatever it was they called it. And I kept thinking, okay, if they're going all the way back to the beginning, please. And I crossed my fingers, and all of a sudden I heard the beginning notes to that tune, and I just jumped out of my chair and was like, yes! And I got to hear that song live, and it was so good. And
I'm trying to remember it myself. I mean, I went to the show at Irvine Meadows.
Right. It was at Irvine Meadows.
Yeah.
And even if we hadn't gone to these Journey shows together, we have been at the same Journey shows, so many times.
Yeah.
But I remember during the early portion of that set, there's really nothing, especially when they were playing all the Greg Raleigh stuff.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything for Steve Augeri to do. No. I remember he came out and he was playing bass guitar.
Yeah.
He was playing bass that night.
Well, he's doing something.
So we had two bass players that night. But anyway, so all right. So moving ahead, we're up to number 11 now, right?
Yes.
All right.
And number 11 was Red 13. It's a four song EP. The songs that I was The Time and Walking Away from the Edge. Two good songs out of the four. I mean, the whole thing was really good. I mean, there wasn't too many songs on that, obviously, but it was really good.
I always count it as five because you have the instrumental at the beginning, State of Grace, or not State of Grace, but Red 13. Yeah. Then you goes into State of Grace. So I always count it as five, but
okay, 5 songs.
Whatever,
5
4 or 5,
songs.
it doesn't matter. But
as a matter of fact, you gave me a copy of that album.
I did give you a copy of that one.
I didn't have to buy it.
Is that where you got your copy from?
Yeah. I don't know where you got your copy from, but you gave me a copy.
I got my copy at the show. I saw them. That was released in 2002, and I got it at the show that I saw them at. They were giving it away. But okay, so for me, put these things back on. So for me, number 11 is Generations. Right there. Whoops, right there. I keep dropping it right here, and I see on the screen that my email address is getting in the way. But yeah, Generations is number 11 for me. That was the final studio release with Steve Augeri. came out in 2005. That was when they did that
Hmm.
night of Journey with the tour for that. Um, it wasn't. It really wasn't well received at all. Um, Initially, the CD was only available at the shows.
That's right.
They were giving it away at the shows, and then I think it was either during that tour or maybe sometime after the tour. Then that's when they released it to the
General
general
public.
public, for
Yeah.
sale through whatever avenue. But there were no singles on it, nothing released to radio. I will say the one thing that is different about this album is that every member of the band has a lead vocal on
Yes, they
here,
do.
and
Yeah.
some have more than one. And the reason why is because Steve was suffering from a lot of vocal problems. And now you're talking in 2005, he's what, 7, 8 years into the band. And during that time, that's all, well, even still today, that's all Journey does. They tour, they're constantly on, every year they're on the road, and they play these extensive tours, you know, uh, 70, 80 shows a year.
Yeah.
And that takes a toll. And Steve was suffering from it. And that is actually why every band member has at least one vocal on here. But I do like Faith in the Heartland. It is a good song. I really like Jonathan's his track, Every Generation. It's just, it's got a good groove to it. I really like it. Butterfly, that one's another Steve and Jerry song. That one's a real mellow ballad, but he does such a good job on it. His voice sounds really good. I like the song a lot. I don't know. I think probably the one that I like the least is the Ross Valerie tune, Gone Crazy. That's probably one I like the least. And it's not that Ross has a bad voice. I think Ross is a tremendous singer, and I think he, over the years, his background vocals go unrecognized and underappreciated. Yeah, and I think overall, Ross Valerie's contribution to Journey throughout the years is underappreciated. I think he's a great bass player. I think he's a great singer. And that's evident to me, it's evident on the Captured album.
Yeah.
On the live album. You can really hear his background vocals, especially on Walks Like a Lady.
Yeah.
You really hear him on that, and it's good stuff. But yeah, I think that's might be one of my least favorite songs on Generations. But it's not a go-to for me. I wish it was. I really wish it was, but it's not. So there it is. It's number 11. Yeah.
So I'm at number 10.
Yeah, we're at number 10 now.
Number 10, I got Eclipse. And some of those songs, of course, like we mentioned, City of Hope and Edge of the Moment and Chain to Love are all in the same first 3 songs on that side. Okay. Really, really good. The first 3 songs really got it going. And I mean, to me, was this a good album? I mean, it wasn't the best album, but it was a good album.
Is that is that something that you go back and listen to from time to time?
Those 3 songs. Especially those 3 songs. They're great songs.
Okay.
They're really good songs. I mean,
but
really
he's only going to listen to the first 3.
Only 3 and then I turn it off. No, that's not the case. Just the 3 songs I like.
He listens to the first 3. Then he takes out the CD. Then he goes and grabs another Journey CD.
Yeah. And there's 16 of them. So, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Funny, man.
I remember picking that one up. I think I picked it up right when it was first released. I try to do that. Even like I said on these on the last 3 releases with Arnell, I've picked them up all. Let me stop. I've picked all of them up right away. Upon release. Just because I believe in supporting the bands that you like.
Yeah.
Support them. Go out and buy the music. Not a lot of other people are doing it. No. So go out and buy the music. Don't, even though we can listen to it for free on the streaming services, that's fine. For me, I do that out of convenience.
Yeah.
But if I really want to crank something up, and you and I still have a date coming up with that, where we're going to sit in my loft and we're going to crank that stereo, and it's going to
we still haven't done that.
We haven't done it.
We're supposed to do it, but we haven't done it yet.
It's a night of Journey, that's for sure. And that, it's definitely a night of journey, and we're gonna put the headphones on and just really take it all in. But yeah, we still have that one coming up.
Yeah. We still have to plan that. It's been, I think, a year and a half. We're supposed to be planning that.
Or
We still haven't done-
longer.
well, maybe a little bit longer after
Yeah.
my situation. So yeah, I would
Yeah.
say it would be a couple of years.
So where are we? Number 10? Is that where we are?
Yeah, well, that's my number 10 was Eclipse. So
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know what yours is.
Yeah, my glasses back on here. Okay, so yes. So my number 10 is Look into the Future.
Mm.
All right. And on that one there, that one is the second release of the if you want to say the originals.
Yeah.
Or just the Greg Raleigh era, let's put it
Yeah.
that way. But that one's the second release.
Yeah.
And that one there, it got as high as 100 on the Billboard Top 200. There were 2 singles released, but no hits.
Wow.
No hits on it. On a Saturday night, and She Makes Me Feel All Right. Those were the 2 singles released, but like I said, no hits. There was nothing charted. For me, though, I like On a Saturday Night. It's a good song. It's got a good groove. Look into the Future. You mentioned it when you called it out on your list, and that is really a good song. That's such a good song. And then I'm Gonna Leave You. I'm Gonna Leave You is really, really cool. I like how it winds up to start. It's like a motor winding up to start, and it's a really good groove. It's a good groove. And Greg Raleigh, he had such a great voice on those albums. He did a great, let me stop. He did a great job his entire tenure in the band. His vocal ability was so good. It didn't lend itself to, he wasn't a front man, and it didn't lend itself to being the front man in a band, especially when he's playing keyboards.
Yeah.
Right? He's sitting behind a keyboard, the Hammond organ and the piano, and rarely came out front to play any guitar. And you can't have a lead singer just sitting behind.
Yeah. playing the piano and doing.
You got to have somebody front.
I mean, you can't do all of that.
You got to have somebody front and center. So, but yeah, Greg, he had a great voice.
Yeah.
He did a great job. And those songs for me, those are the standouts on that one there. So, all right. So where are we? Number 9.
Number 9 was Revelation.
Okay.
And that was Never Walk Away is one of my favorite songs. And of course the ballad, after all these years.
Right.
Where Did I Lose Love? I mean, just really good rhythms to those songs.
Okay.
Really good rhythm.
Yeah.
I really liked them. That was
a
really good album.
After all these years, it is a good song. It is a good song. So yeah, I will agree with you there on that.
Yeah.
Okay. So at number 10 for me, is that number 10?
Well, I'm on
number 9. Number 9.
And
I'm looking at my list.
I'm on number 9. How can you be at number 10?
I say every number and I still lose track. My number 9 right there, Trial by Fire.
Oh, good album.
Okay. Trial by Fire. That was the 1996 release with the classic lineup. Can't say the original lineup, but the classic lineup. They came back together. There was a couple of reasons that were given for why they came back together. One, Steve Perry said he was missing being with the boys, writing and creating music with Neil and with Jonathan, especially because him and Jonathan did so much writing as far as lyrically. They did so much writing together. So there was that. And then there was also some talk that the band still had obligations to the record company as well. Yeah. So, but nonetheless, so they came back together for that. It's number 9 for me, just because it's a little long for me. And as a fan of any band, at first I always think, oh, more songs is better. And more songs is not always better.
Not always.
When you stop down and you think about it. The album itself, it did reach as high as number 3 on the on the Billboard Top 200, but it didn't stick around very long because the band, the album only went gold at that time. Now
Yeah.
it may certify higher than that, but at that time it really only achieved gold. But they released 4 singles off of it, and only one of them went top 40, and that was When You Love a Woman. They got a Grammy nomination for that one, and it's a great song. It really, really is. It's a great song. It's great lyrics in it, and it's your, what you would think like your typical Journey ballad.
Yeah.
But for me, the standout songs, and I'm going to save my favorite one for last. The standout songs are One More, When You Love a Woman, Don't Be Down on Me, Baby, Easy to Fall, and It's Just the Rain. Those to me, those are like the standout songs. When I put on anything, I listen to it from front to back. I don't skip around or anything like that.
Oh, you don't do 3 songs and
I don't do 3 songs and change it.
You don't do 3 songs and like I do.
I don't. But Trial by Fire for me has one of the best songs in the entire Journey catalog. It's one of my absolute favorite songs, and what a great way to start off that album, and that's Message of Love.
Yeah, that's on my own.
That is a great song. And I'll wait till it pops up on your list, wherever it pops up, and then I'm going to talk more about that song. But yeah, so that's where it sits with me. Trial by Fire sits at number 9.
So I'm at number 8, correct?
Yeah, number 8.
Okay, number 8 was Raised on Radio.
Okay.
Song that stand out was Girl Can't Help It, Be Good to Yourself, and I'll Be All Right Without You. Great songs. It was a good album. It was really, really good. I mean, just the Girl Can't Help It was just a good melody. Be Good to Yourself with the ending with Neil Sean going out and playing that guitar. That was a great
guitar solo to end.
Oh yeah, it was a great song.
Yeah.
So
that
was my number 8.
Yep.
Yep.
It's a good album.
Right. Yes,
it's a good album. That's for sure. All right. So number 8 for me, Steve Perry's introduction to Journey.
Wow.
Infinity.
Wow.
Infinity is my number 8. And I know, see, this is where I am going to piss off the Journey world because people are going, what are you talking about? Number 8, Infinity? Are you kidding me? That's my favorite Journey album. And for a lot of people, it is. Yeah. For a lot of people, it's going to be their number 1. But, for me, it's not. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why it's not. Here we go.
Remember, I don't feel that way. He does.
That's right. That's right. Now this was, as I said, this was Steve Perry's introduction to the band and introduction to all of us. The album was Journey's highest charting album at that time, I think for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
It reached number 21. They released 3 singles. However, no top 40 singles. They all did make the Hot 100, but the highest charting one out of those was Wheel in the Sky. It reached number 57. The other 2 singles were Anytime and Lights. And not Feeling That Way Anytime, which is, come on.
I put it together.
You cannot hear one of those without the other.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Come on. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to hear those songs back to back.
Especially live.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, the standout songs are Feeling That Way, Wheel in the Sky, Something to Hide. I think Something to Hide is so good. It's such a great vocal from Steve Perry, and La Doo Da. But like for me, honestly, Lights, I like it. It's a great song,
it is.
But it's been so overplayed. I don't have to hear it anymore. I don't.
Oh, it's a good song. That's why they play it over and over, especially in San Francisco.
Yeah.
That's what the song's based for anyways.
Yeah. Well, that song was actually originally written about the city of LA.
Yeah.
It was when the lights go down in the city and the sun shines on LA.
Oh.
because Steve Perry was in LA trying to get a record deal at the time he wrote that song.
Oh.
And then, of course, then he hooks up with the boys in Journey, and they're San Francisco based. And he's not San Francisco based, but he's certainly Central California. So he's up that direction. So they gear it and rework it to fit San Francisco. And look, it doesn't matter where the song was written. It matters where it ended up, and it matters what the meaning of that song is. Yeah. And they made that song mean San Francisco. Yeah. And so that's what it is.
That's what everybody says.
Yeah. But anyway, so I think you start to see with Infinity, you really start to see the direction that this band is going to go.
Anywhere but up.
It's immediate.
Anywhere but
it
up.
is immediate.
Yep.
So, okay. So we are at number 7.
Number 7 is Trial by Fire.
Okay.
So Girl Can't Help It. Excuse me. Yeah. When You Love, wait a minute. Trial by Fire. Yeah. Message of Love, of course, is on that list. Dark. And When You Love a Woman. Those 2 songs really make that album.
Gosh, that Message of Love is so good. And do you remember when we saw Journey in 2001 in Vegas at June Fest? You remember they opened with that song?
Yeah. It was 101. It was 108 degrees. Who cared who it opened? It was hot that day.
Yeah, it was so good. It's such a good song. Yeah. And now tell me if you think this too, because this is when I first put on Trial by Fire, and I heard Message of Love. The song structure reminded me of Separate Ways.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Separate Ways.
Yeah, that's the way it's
like Separate Ways Part 2 as far as
they changed the words around a little
as far as
it's basically the same thing.
But the song structure, and you get to the chorus, and the chorus sounds like the Separate Ways chorus. Yeah. Then you have the music break, you have the guitar solo in the middle, and then even at the end of the song, we're on Separate Ways. I still love you, girl. I really love you. All that. They do the same thing at the end of Message of Love too. And I was like, really, guys? But it's so good, I didn't care. It was so good, I didn't care.
It was a really good song.
That song I can hear over and over and over.
But we have.
Well, I have, but I can still hear it more and more. And I think, a lot of it has to do with because I'm the only one that, when I hear it, I'm the only one that plays it. You don't hear it on the radio. So radio hasn't burnt that song to a crisp. So I'm not tired of it. Where like with Lights, I'm kind of tired of that song because it's been burnt.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because the catalog that Journey has, even if you take everything from Message of Love all the way to the current Journey, that catalog previous to that is so great. And yet radio never plays any of it. They play the same 4, 5, 6 songs. That's it. Mm-hmm. It's just a joke.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. So your number 7 was Trial by Fire.
Yep.
Okay. Good choice. My number 7, Raised on Radio. Yep. Raised on Radio is number 7 for me. And I could say a lot about Raised on Radio. For me, it's a go-to album for me. Yes, it's very far removed from anything that Journey had done, certainly before then. It's very pop sounding, and it's very polished as far as the production on it. But it's almost a concept album as well, because all these songs sort of have the same theme. The title of the album is Raised on Radio, and these songs where when you listen to the lyrics, they refer back to a lot of that stuff that Steve and Jonathan were growing up listening to. Just listen to the lyrics, Raised on Radio. Yeah. Their song, Girl Can't Help It. So it is sort of a concept album paying tribute to the radio that they were raised on. At least Steve was raised on. But I did find this out in doing my research here
Mm.
for my
Mm.
for my list that this album was originally supposed to be called Freedom.
Huh.
Raised on Radio was supposed to be called Freedom, but Steve Perry insisted on this name. And if you at least through the Steve Perry era, first album that wasn't one word, that the title wasn't one word.
Yeah.
Because you had Infinity,
The
Evolution, Departure,
Departure,
Captured,
yeah.
Escape, Frontiers, boom, Raised on Radio.
Yeah, that's true.
And then back-to-back albums,
Yeah.
they went Raised on Radio, Trial by Fire. They went three words on those two albums. They got it back, later on with the one-word titles.
Yeah.
They did get it back. But yeah, I read that in my research. I was like, oh, okay. Well, they sat on Freedom, and they,
Yeah.
40 years later,
Yeah.
almost 37
Yeah.
years later, they finally got to use the title Freedom. But it is such a good album. It really is. Like I said, pop sounding, polished sounding, and all. I really, really enjoy it a lot. I know that there were, four or five singles released on it. Let me check my notes here. Where is it? There it is. Six singles. 6 singles released on it. 4 of them hit the top 40. So you had Be Good to Yourself hit number 9, Suzanne number 17, Girl Can't Help It number 17. Yeah. Girl Can't Help It. Ugh, so good.
Great
so
song.
it's such a good song.
Yeah.
And again, I can hear that song over and over and over. And here's a test. Here's a testament to how great a band is. That the vocal harmonies on that in the studio are great. And Journey has always been a band that's had wonderful vocal harmonies. Yeah. When you hear the live version of that song, come on. So good. And I say that a lot. I know my audience knows I say that. I use that phrase a lot. So good. But yeah, it's it's a great
song.
Great song.
I agree.
Oh yeah, I'll Be All Right Without You. That one that's another good song.
Yeah.
Another good song.
Good beat.
Okay. Now tell me if you agree with this here. Why Can't This Night Go On Forever? Tell me that's not Faithfully.
I won't, but it is. It sounds like it.
Same, just like Message of Love.
Yeah.
Same song structure, right?
Same structure. It's almost like, what are you guys writing the same song but twice?
Yeah. Hey, if it worked,
still good.
If it worked one time, why won't it work another time?
But it's still good.
It is.
It's really a good song.
It's a little lighter than Faithfully. Maybe because of that polished production, but it's a little lighter. The piano is a little lighter sounding. But yeah, no, it's Faithfully.
Yeah, if you just take the words out, you can hear it.
Faithfully 2.0.
Good song though.
Oh yeah.
Good song.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Really good song.
All right, so we're up to number 6.
Number 6 is Arrival. And that album, Higher Place, good song all the way. Good song. Really good album.
Yep.
Yeah.
How many times did we see them on that tour? We saw them at the Blockbuster Pavilion, or whatever they call it at the time. They change names all the time.
Yeah.
Blockbuster Pavilion, we saw them there. And then we saw them in Vegas at June Fest on the Arrival tour also. Yeah. So maybe that was the only 2 times we saw them on Arrival. I can't remember. I know we've seen them 2 or 3 times at Blockbuster.
Yeah, I know I've seen them a few times. I couldn't remember at first, but yeah, I remember seeing Steel and Jerry.
Well, I think because one time it was what was it? Who was it? Foreigner opened up, and then Journey closed, and then one time we saw him. I think it was John Waite, then Peter Frampton, and then Journey. I think it was.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I have to go back, but I think you're right.
I think so.
I have to go back, but I think he's right.
There was only a way we could find out, huh? Maybe that little thing called the internet,
It's
right?
called Wikipedia.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
supposed to pay, but you're not
Exactly.
paying.
But the thing was, the thing I miss is that um, we could only buy T-shirts at those shows. We couldn't get programs. Programs are so cool,
Yeah, I've
so
had
cool.
several. I've had several, not for
But
Journey, but other
no,
bands. Other
no,
bands, they have really good
right.
programs.
I think the last tour that Journey put out a tour book for was Raised on Radio. I think that was the last one. I have that tour book, but yeah, I don't know. I've never seen a tour book since.
Oh,
And how many countless Journey shows and tours have we been to?
just amazing.
Yeah. So okay, so yours. Let's see.
You're 6. I already did my 6.
Your 6 was
Arrival.
Arrival. Yeah.
Yeah, you're number 6 now.
My 6 is Evolution.
Yeah, good album.
Yeah, really good album. Really good album. Steve Perry's second Journey studio album, and that one was turn this page over. Yeah, that one where Infinity went as high as number 21 on the top 200 albums. Evolution went to number 20, so it got one spot higher. There were 3 singles released off of it.
Mm-hmm.
They did get one top 40 out of it, and that was such a good one. It's so good live, so good on Captured. Loving, touching, squeezing. What?
Try singing that song, boy, is it hard.
Yeah.
It's an awfully long song.
And that's a hard one to sing. But we talked a little bit about we talked earlier before the show started. We were talking about live recordings and how some bands fix things in the studio and all that. And I know I'm getting off on a tangent here because I'm talking about a live album now, but the Journey Captured album, I think, is one of the best live albums, period.
Super album.
No fixes in the studio, and you can hear it in Steve Perry's voice.
Yeah.
First, you can hear how great it sounds, but then you hear there's a point in Love and Touch and Squeezing where you hear a little break in his voice. And so I love it because it's like they didn't go back to fix it.
Yeah.
There's no fixing. Yeah. Leave it because this is how it goes out.
Yeah, it's a live album.
It doesn't sound terrible, but you can hear the break in his voice. And
if you catch it.
Yeah. And I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great live album.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, what a great live album.
Oh yeah.
So so my standout tracks on that one are Too Late, Love and Touch and Squeezing, and come on. After Love and Touch and Squeezing, you have to listen to City of Angels. Am I right? You have to.
They play that now on the stations now. They play both of the songs together.
Barely.
Yeah, but they do.
Yeah.
Especially on Sirius Radio. So
yes, on satellite radio. You're right. Definitely not on terrestrial radio.
No.
Sweet and Simple. Oh man, that is such a good song. That is so good. Yeah. Loving You Is Easy. Yeah. Just the Same Way. Daydream, another good one. And Lady Luck. Lady Luck is so good. That's a really crunchy, hard rocking song. Yeah. Good stuff. So yeah, that's where we are. That one, Evolution. That's my number 6. Mm-hmm. And it's okay if you're not keeping up. We're gonna recap them, but a lot quicker.
You'll get to see this over again, so you can see it as many times as you want. If you catch us wrong, hey, we're gonna be wrong. We're old.
All right, so hey, we hit the top 5.
Yep,
but top 5.
Yep, the top 5 is Frontiers. Great album. Of course, Faithfully and in Separate Ways, Edge of the Blade. Great song, good catchy song. It's just a great song. Faithfully, great song. Agree. I danced with my daughter for her wedding. She played Faithfully for me. She knows that's because I love that darn song. That's for my daughter Tony.
Yeah,
and she knows.
And Tony's the best. Mm-hmm. Tony's the best. She's such a sweetheart. Yeah.
Anyhow,
so shout out to Tony. But no,
Yeah.
Faithfully,
Great
great song.
song.
Yep.
Wow.
I definitely agree. Yep, good stuff. Anything else on that stand out to you?
No, well, most of the album was really good. I got those just those three songs that stand out, but man,
Okay.
it's a really good album altogether.
Okay. Look, I already know his number one, and he hasn't even told me, but I already know it.
His number one's the same as mine, I bet.
Okay. So let me see. Yeah, we're at top five.
Number
Top five.
five.
Yay!
You did the drum roll.
I know.
Jeez.
All right. So
Anyway.
number five. Number five for me. This is gonna surprise so many people.
Arrival.
Arrival.
Good album.
Arrival. That is Steve Augeri's first studio album with Journey. And that one for me, because of where we are in the last 23 years since the turn of the century with the music climate as far as radio and how we consume music now, this album right here, this album got lost. You know, if you are anything like us, hardcore Journey fans, then you have this album in your collection and you know how great it is. Come on. Just like Trial by Fire with Message of Love, starting that album off. What a great song Higher Places. Yeah. What a great lead track on that album. Yeah. And there are so many other good songs on that. This is an album that it's number 5. So I go back to this so much. Like we were talking earlier, the difference between Arnell and Steve Augeri, the soul in Steve Augeri and that. And, Steve Augeri did such a great job with the Journey, with the Steve Perry material. Yeah. Okay. He did such a great job for as long as he could until he just couldn't do it anymore. And there's no shame in that. And there should never be any shame in that because
I agree.
Even Steve Perry back in 2003, 2004 was probably not going to be able to sing Steve Perry because it's that tough. And Steve Perry himself, he painted himself into a corner.
Yeah.
So this right here is not Steve Augeri singing like Steve Perry. This is Steve Augeri singing like Steve Augeri.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, it does have a Perry-esque sound to it, but he's not trying to recreate Frontiers. He's not trying to recreate Escape on this. Yeah. The band is not. You have great musicianship in it. Dean Castronova is such a fabulous drummer.
Yeah.
Such a fabulous drummer.
And the boy can sing.
He can sing.
Can he sing?
Sings like a bird.
Yeah.
But with Arrival, like I said, what a great lead track in Higher Place. Yes, All the Way. Another good song. That was the second track on that album. It only reached number 56 on the top 200. Yeah, it did not. And to be honest, I believe it only went gold, barely. Now it could be a little higher now, but at the time that these things were certified, it had only gone gold. But they did release. They only released All the Way. That's right. It didn't reach the Billboard Top 40. It did reach like number 22 on the AC chart, but which is adult contemporary. But Higher Place, such a standout song. Signs of Life. Signs of Life.
Yeah, that was a good song too.
All the things I love about you. It's so good because it touches on the older Journey era stuff. I mean, it even has shades of the Greg Raleigh era, the Greg Raleigh years, not pre Steve Perry, but the Infinity Evolution departure years. Yeah. Touches on that musically a little bit. Touches on the Escape Frontiers, Raised on Radio stuff, and it gets into more current stuff. You know it's Journey when you put it on. You just know it's Journey. Loved by You. It's a ballad, but it's so good, and I love lyrics. I don't know about you.
I'm good with the lyrics.
I
I read them. I read them when I open the case.
Well, I'm a lyric.
And
I'm a
then
lyric guy. And Love by You has some great lyrics to it. And then it has a great blues song, Living to Do.
Yeah.
It's a great bluesy song.
Did they put it on their DVD? Because I know I have purchased a DVD of the Arrival tour. And I don't remember half those songs they played, but they played Higher Place and they went crazy.
I think they played. I think on that tour they only did Higher Place and All the Way. I think those are the only songs that
the only two songs they're being
used. But World Gone Wild. Oh my gosh, it's such a great song. It is so good. And then you got Live and Breathe. And then there another kind of ballady, I don't want to say groovy, but another ballady song, Kiss Me Softly. So good. And then it finishes up with We Will Meet Again. And the way I really like that song, and I describe that song, is that it has that sound. There are certain songs that when they're ending, they sound like they could go on forever, that they'll never end.
They never end the song.
We're not doing a Rush show here, but Tom Sawyer is one of those songs. Tom Sawyer sounds like it just keep going on and on and on and on, you know. And this one, We Will Meet Again, has that same feeling for me. It's just really, really good. So yeah, I love Steve Augeri. And Steve, you got to get on the program. You've got to come on this program here because I love you. It's true.
Yeah, there are people out there that love you.
But
Ben does love you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. I am all over some Steve Augeri stuff. But so yeah, that's where it falls for me at number 5. It's my number 5. It's just so good.
It's a good album.
And I wish it didn't get lost in the Journey catalog. I really didn't. I just, especially because Journey was coming back at that time. I mean, they come back 2 years prior, because I think this was released in 2000.
Yeah.
And I think it was like April of 2000. And so they'd been on the road for 2 years at that point. People were familiar with, people were liking them. They were playing bigger and bigger places. Now they were building that back up. And then they come out with this and everybody wanted new material. And then it just, as far as the music buying public, it fell flat. And I hate that. I just hate it. So anyway, all right. So we're up to number 4.
Number 4.
Sorry, people.
No, number 4 is Evolution. Great album. Oh man, Love and Touch and Squeezing, just the same way.
Yeah.
When You're Alone and Easy, it's a great album. Most of those songs are all really, really good. I like them.
Can't argue with that at all. What would you say is your favorite track off of Evolution?
Love and Touch and Squeeze is, of course, my number 1.
Okay. All right.
I mean, that song takes forever and ever. I mean, it's just a good beat. I mean,
it's a great build up. It's a great build up,
really
and it's a great song.
Yeah, it is.
Just nothing.
Really good song.
Okay, so for me, my number 4, and this is, look.
Oh,
we're gonna get in a fist fight.
Oh, you're gonna get slugged.
We're gonna get in a fist fight.
You've got to be kidding me.
If he doesn't punch me, somebody out there is gonna punch me.
I can't punch my left arm. But I would if I could. See, it works, but I won't hurt him.
There's my number 4 right there.
I cannot believe he picked that.
I know.
I can't believe it.
I'm gonna explain all this.
You better explain, because I think the public would like to see the fact that you their number 1 album, number 4. So explain it.
You are absolutely correct. This is Journey's best-selling album, best-selling studio album. Their best-selling album is Greatest Hits. That one sold like 16,000 copies.
Half of those songs are on there.
But the biggest seller, all original, yes, is Escape. It's a Diamond album, probably 11 or 12 million at this point, but Diamond is a 10 million seller. Look, come on. For the folks that weren't Journey fans before Escape, this is what made people become Journey
Oh
fans.
yeah.
And yes, did the music direction change a little bit when Jonathan Cain came into the band and took over for Greg Raleigh?
Yeah,
It did.
I think so.
The songwriting was a little bit different.
Of course. Yeah.
But I don't think it was because, and I'm going to explain this as we go because I have reasons why I have my own reasons why this happened this way. Why the trajectory of the band took why it took the path it did. Um um Hang on a second, folks. I got something right here on my screen. Let me just get rid of it. Boom. Okay, good.
Yeah. Don't cover my face.
So I think that there's a great explanation as to why the band took the trajectory it did once Steve Perry hit it, and it wasn't just because of his vocal ability, even though that's it's undisputable, that's for sure, greatest singer ever. But I don't think that's the sole reason. I'll explain later. But getting back to Escape, great stuff. Jonathan Cain's introduction to the Journey world. This is what would be considered the classic lineup of the band, right?
Yep.
Because this is where all of their biggest selling albums started. We saw them on this tour.
106,000 people.
Yeah.
Seeing people break their legs, throw food. It was a great day.
Yeah, we saw Journey on this tour. We saw them on the second leg of this tour, and it was at the Rose Bowl. Like you said, 106,000 people. I mean, it was
free seating for one price only. You can't find that no more.
It's all general admission. That's right.
Yeah,
all general admission. That was a long day because I think Aldo Nova took the stage at like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and Journey didn't come on till about 9. And but that was back in the days when it took a crew forever to strike a stage and set back up for the next band. And now they get that stuff done in 15, 20 minutes. So that's what made for such a long day. But yeah, I still remember July 2nd, 1982.
Very good.
Yeah, still remember that. I think we paid like $18 or something for those tickets.
I thought it was $14.50, but maybe it was 18.
I thought it was like $18.
I mean, there was 4 of us, right? So
yeah, it was you and I and Anel and Buzzy.
Yeah. What a show, man.
What a show.
It was worth every penny.
What a show.
Every penny.
So yeah. So look, Journey's biggest selling album, Jonathan Cain's introduction to the Journey fans, to the Journey world. The band again skyrocketed even more with this one. 10 songs.
Every one of them.
All great.
All great.
All great songs. I'm going to tell you right now. Well, where is it? There it is. The 5 singles that were released were Who's Crying Now? That was the first one.
Yeah.
What a great guitar solo.
Yeah.
Don't Stop Believing.
Of course.
But see what's you know what's funny? Okay. So Who's Crying Now reaches number 9 on the top 40. Don't Stop Believing, which I think everybody in the entire world will agree that's Journey's biggest song.
Yep.
It only reached, I shouldn't say only, but it reached number 9 on the top 40.
They deserve better.
Still They Ride was the 4th track. That one was released shortly before we went to go see them. That's how radio worked back then. That's how long then, and that was the last one. I'll get to number 3 in a second. That's how long these songs, that was the staying power that these songs had in radio back when we were growing up, when we were in high school. I mean, a song would stay, in the top 40 for weeks and weeks. And then a lot of times it would still be in the top 100 for months.
Yeah.
So but the highest charting song on the album was Open Arms.
Wow.
Went to number 2.
Yeah.
Went to number 2. And yet Don't Stop Believing is Journey's biggest song, and it's one of the biggest downloaded songs in the history of downloading songs.
They play that song once every minute in every station.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you. As great as that song is, and it's a great song, if I never heard it again, I would be okay. I know you feel differently. I know you feel. That's what I said.
100 times.
If we didn't know each other for 45 years, he would be coming across the table at me.
I'd be slugging him. This is his show, so I gotta make sure he stays. Gotta make sure that he stays okay because this is his show.
That I'm healthy enough to do the next show, right?
Yeah, but no black eyes. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know I'm on camera here, but really, if I don't hear, if I never hear "Don't Stop Believing," I'm okay, I'm all right, and it's such a good song.
There's so many songs though that we don't hear. It's what makes it easier to say. You know what? We can hear
play some of the others.
Play something else.
My favorite song, and you might, well, I don't know. I'm not sure if you agree. My favorite song is "Lay It Down."
This song,
and that was the only song off of that album, the night we saw them at the Rose Bowl, that they didn't play. And that song, I don't think Journey has ever played live. I believe I heard Steve Perry mention in an interview, I think that when he had released his last solo album, Traces, that was one song that he could not sing. That was one song that they hadn't performed live. But there was one song that, he couldn't do, or something along those lines. And it was "Lay It Down." What?
Yeah, good song. That's a great song.
Gosh, that's a crazy song. Yeah. It's so good. It is so good. And that is the heaviest song on the album.
Yeah, I think so.
That is a very heavy song, and I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Neil is absolutely on fire on that one. All right, so because I pissed everybody off, because I pissed off Spaz, we're going to get to number 3.
Hey, I'll get to number 3 here, and I won't piss you off because it's not Escape, okay? So number 3 is Infinity, and, Feel That Way Anytime, Wheel in the Sky, Lights, great songs, all of them. And even live, and they play them outstanding live as they do studio. I mean, they're just great. That album is just a great album.
No doubt.
No doubt about it.
No doubt. Infinity.
I don't handle these songs at the concert, I get disappointed. I want my money back. Because those songs are awesome.
Yeah, and that's the sad part is they don't play Feeling That Way anytime enough anymore. It's rare when
they should play that. They really should.
It's a good song, and what I like about it is Jonathan Cain has always done a great job doing the Greg Raleigh vocals.
Yeah,
he's always done a great job, and Jonathan has a great voice.
A good guitarist too. I mean, he plays guitar.
Absolutely,
great guitar, especially in Escape album.
I like watching him get out from behind the keyboards and get to play some rhythm guitar. Get out to run around with Neil on stage and stuff. It's always been a treat to see that. Okay. Anything else on Infinity?
We're good with Infinity.
That's your number 3.
That's my number 3.
All right, we'll see. Now I know what his number 2 is. I already know what his number 1 is. So. All right, so my number 3, Red 13.
Wow, he ranked up there.
Red 13. That is the Journey EP that was released in 2002, and at first, before it was shipped out to the stores for sale, it was given to the concert goers on that particular tour in 2002. And I saw Journey. I'm trying to remember where I got the CD, because I was aware of the CD and I already had it. And then I had gone to see Journey in Vegas at the Aladdin Hotel, which no longer exists.
Yeah.
One of the absolute best Journey shows I have seen that night. And I believe they played 3 songs off of this EP. They opened with Red 13, State of Grace, which was very cool.
Did anybody know what that song was?
I did.
You're the only one.
I did. You
were probably the only one.
Probably the only one. And what is so good about this CD here, some of it goes back to Journey's original roots, meaning Greg Raleigh, that Greg Raleigh era pre Steve Perry uh, with the opening Red 13. Um, it's and then it goes right into State of Grace, which is such a hard rocking song. And the
Yeah.
time is too. I think
Yeah.
this is so heavy. I honestly believe this is Journey's heaviest stuff right here is on Red 13. And it's so good. Those first, if you, like I said, if you want to count Red 13 as a tune, or you want to just get it in there with State of Grace, those first two tracks are very heavy. But so good, and I just love it to pieces. And it's unfortunate that this CD is not available on any streaming services.
No, can't find it
Can't
anywhere.
find it anywhere. I mean, I know there's some people that have it out on YouTube, but no, I want it on a streaming service somewhere so I can just take it and listen to it. But so good and that's why it's number 3 for me.
Very good.
All right, so we are getting down to the nitty gritty.
Finally getting down to the top albums.
The
Of course,
top,
again, number 2 still not Escape. So
the top 2.
top
2.
I bet you're all saying, "Hey, how exciting!" I'm glad it's almost over. But
No,
we're having a good time here. So
we are having a good time.
My second album was Departure. Really good album. I mean, songs any way you want it. Walks Like a Lady. I mean, Line of Fire. God, man, there were some great tunes.
So good.
And and of course the blues song. What's the blues song on that album?
The what song?
The blues song on that album.
Well, that's Walks Like a Lady.
There you go.
And the live version is.
Oh, I know, it's phenomenal.
The live version's killer.
Yeah.
Absolutely dynamite.
Yeah.
I absolutely dynamite on that one. So
yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, the one that we agree on, number 2 for me, is Departure.
Hey, there you go.
That's the one we agree on. And I'm going to tell you what, though. See, I was surprised. I surprised myself. I did not think Departure was going to be my number 2. But the more I did my research on all this stuff, and I start looking at all the albums, and I'm thinking, okay, well, wait a second. All right, I'm going to put these things back on. And I start looking at them, and I'm going, okay, what songs do I like off of this? And how many songs do I like off of this? And so with Departure, it was Journey's highest charting album at that time. So that means with Steve Perry, each album charted higher and higher.
Yep.
They sold more and more and more. So the formula was working. And I'm going to tell you what that formula was. Steve Perry and Neil Schon as a songwriting team. When I went through when I went through the albums Infinity, Evolution, and Departure, I'm looking at the songwriting credits. How many times was Steve Perry, Greg Raleigh, and Neil Schon writing together? Not very many. Not hardly. How many times was Steve Perry and Greg Raleigh writing together? Not hardly at all. But how many times did Steve Perry and Neil Schon write together? Boom, 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 boom. That was it. That's the combination right there. There's something between those two guys. And then, of course, when you added Jonathan Cain into the mix, that's what, see, you had Steve Perry and Neil Schon, and the band goes like this.
Yep.
For all that I love Greg Raleigh, his musicality, his lyrics, his voice, all of that. He retires from the band. You add Jonathan Cain, and now you have the mix of Steve Perry, Jonathan Cain, and Neil Schon, and it goes here and it goes here.
Yep.
Instantly.
It's gone.
Instantly. So it first started with Steve Perry and Neil Schon. And I think I believe that's the one thing that bothers Neil Schon to this day, because he has reached out to Steve on multiple occasions just to chat, just to meet up for a cup of coffee and not even talk about, hey, let's get back together. Let's do some writing. Let's do this. Let's do that. None of that. And Steve has none of it.
Huh.
It has nothing to do with it. But, but that's where it started. And all you have to do is just look at the songs, look at the songwriting credits, and you look at the trajectory of the band. And that's what I started to do in my research here. And I'm looking at this. And when I looked at Departure, I'm saying, okay, look, I love all these songs off of Infinity. Boom, boom, boom. I looked at how many songs do I like off of that album?
Yeah.
I mean, that are just boom, hammer it home. And because I do like them all, but Someday Soon. Oh, what a great trade-off on vocals between Greg and Steve on that one. That's such a great song.
Yeah.
Precious Time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
They're Hicks song. That's what I call it.
Where Were You?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that is such, oh, man. It's such, just punches you right in the gut. Line of Fire.
Yeah.
Good Morning Girl. A very short song, less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But what a great vocal performance by Steve on that. It's so good. Stay a While.
Yeah.
It's such a good song. Oh my gosh.
It's a really good album. Super.
And they used to do that live on the back of Lights. They would do Lights and go into Stay a While. And that was such a great combination on those two songs. Homemade Love. Oh, Homemade Love. Hot Jelly Roll Love. Are you kidding me? That is so good. People and Places.
Yeah.
The vocal trade-off between Steve and Neil on that. And it's so like atmospheric, It's so good. So I had to take a look at that. And it's like, oh my gosh. It's like boom, 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 boom. I was shocked because I honestly thought my number 2 was going to be Infinity.
Yeah.
Actually, I take it back. I thought it was going to be Evolution. And yet it's Departure. I was like, it has to be Departure. I'm blown away.
It was a great album. Great album.
You don't think about it, but I don't know why you don't think about it. For me, I just never thought about it like that. Oh my gosh, there's my number 2 right there. Yeah. All right, so I don't have a drum roll. Sorry, I don't have something programmed. I can just play it. I should look it up on my phone and shove it up here to the microphone. But all right, it's time for you to reveal your number 1, Holmes.
Of course, we already know what number 1 is because I didn't rank it number 4. That'll be Escape. It's the number 1 album of mine that I really, really enjoyed. Every song on that album is fantastic.
Where is it?
There's not a bad song on that album. And Open Arms.
There's number 1 for Spaz right there.
Number 1. That's my album right there.
Yeah.
And it's just a great album. And seeing them in concert to perform that album was just fantastic. I mean, it just was a great show. We had a good time that day. I mean, we didn't get out of there till 11 o'clock, but it was a great show.
Gosh, I don't think we got home till about 2.
Okay, well, sorry. Yeah,
because I think the show ended just before midnight, if I remember, because they had the big fireworks.
Big fireworks. Pasadena we're talking about. I mean, 106,000 people to get out. It took forever.
Yeah, actually, absolutely. But no, look, I said it. Look, Journey's biggest album, absolute biggest album. Great album. Jonathan Cain, you see where it goes. I talked about the songwriting team, that kind of stuff. And that makes a difference. And when you really drill it down and you start looking at this stuff, you realize this is what it is. This is the good stuff. This is what, this is what this cake needed to,
Right. Agreed.
To taste as good as it does. but yeah, so Escape, great one. Yeah. And like I said, my favorite track on it is Lay It Down because it's so heavy and it's just that crunching guitar and Steve's vocals. He gets to a level vocally that, man, I don't know that he ever reached before, even pre-Escape.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, all right. So the suspense is over, people. All right, because there's my number 1 right there. Journey Frontiers. Okay. And It's my number. I talked about it with Departure. I talked about it with everything else. I have to look at it this way: how many songs do I like on this that I could just hear over and over and over? I could play this front to back over and over again, and I like every single song on it. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if it's because I don't know if it's because I've heard Separate Ways so many times on the radio, or I've heard After the Fall so many times on the radio, or even Faithful I could just hear forever and ever and ever. I might like side 2 better than side 1. Side 2 is tremendous.
Rubicon is a great song.
Come on. Another song, I was telling you, that it seems like it could just go on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
Right? Just the way that song ends.
Yeah.
And what a great song to end the album. You are absolutely right. Edge of the Blade.
Yeah. The Wrong Edge of the Blade. Nice song.
Oh, man. And that I don't want to say that's Journey's heaviest song, but it's Steve Perry's heaviest song. And I think prior to that was Lay It Down. But the thing with Frontiers, the whole entire album, this is their heavy album right here. Escape was hard rock, classic rock. And Frontiers got heavier. It moved into a little bit heavier direction. And I think it went that way because what happened to Steve Perry on the Escape tour.
Yeah.
He got tore up. He got beat up. He sings heavier. His voice is a lot more rough. And Steve Perry is still great stuff. But he didn't have the high screams like he had on Escape or the albums prior to that. And I think it took its toll, that Escape tour. And he had said in an interview, I think after it was released, after the Frontiers album was released, that he was singing more angry. I think that shows, and I'm sure there's a lot of truth to that, but I do think it was that he didn't have a choice. Because after Escape, and please tell me you agree, after Escape, Steve Perry's voice was never the same.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I would agree. A shame too, but it was.
Well, it's still always great.
Yeah.
But like I said, where you had Infinity, Evolution, Departure, Escape, and he had some really high screams, and he was going to some really high levels. I think he used to describe it. After Escape, his voice wasn't like that anymore. And I think I heard him describe it was one time, besides the whole angry thing, that he had said, prior to Frontiers, he didn't have any balls. something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like that, but for me, Frontiers is it. And I don't know if you are aware out there, but there are 2 tracks on here that initially were not on this album. And can you tell me? 3, 2, 1. Okay, time's up. The 2 tracks that were originally recorded for this album that are not on it are Only the Young and Ask the Lonely.
That's right.
And they took the place of Back Talk and Troubled Child.
Good songs too.
Yeah. Back Talk is such a good song.
Yeah.
And the one song that never gets played at all, the title track. It's so good.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? That's why I say I might like side 2 better than side 1.
Yeah.
Because it's just so good.
Yeah, but nobody's no one's doing the radio plays anymore. It would be nice, but they don't. That's
true. But that's my number 1. And it is that way because I said so.
Well,
Yeah,
mm,
I'll tell you what, it would really be nice if somebody out there would leave a comment and you would give us your list from 16 to 1 because I want to see where your list compares to ours.
yeah.
I have a feeling though that most people out there, their list is probably going to come closer to yours. I,
I can't
I
tell
think
you.
so. I think so.
I mean, come on,
It
what
just,
this?
but
30 years of music. I mean, you just got, you just got to know.
yeah, that's our journey studio albums ranked from least favorite to our favorite. Oh, so we're going to review them again really fast. That's right. That's right. I said we were going to do that. All right. So go ahead and give us yours from 16 down to 1.
Do you want to just give me the albums or what?
Just give us your rundown from
Okay,
16
number
to 1.
16 was Generations.
Getting on that. Yeah.
Number 16 was
Yep.
Generations. Number 15 was Journey. Number 14 was Look into the Future. Number 13 was Freedom. Number 12 was Next. Number 11 was Red 13. Number 10 was Eclipse. Number 9 was Revelations. Number 8 was Raised on Radio. Number 7 was Trial by Fire. Number 6 was Arrival. Number 5 was Frontiers. Number 4 was Evolution. Number 3 was Infinity. Number 2 was Departure. And number 1 was Escape. All great albums. It's just unfortunate that I was only able to grade them in that order. They're all really good.
You had all 3 Greg Raleigh albums in the top 5, huh?
Yep.
You had them 4, 3, 2, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And my 16 go like this. At 16, Eclipse. 15, Revelation. 14, Freedom. 13, Journey, the self-titled album or the debut album.
Yeah.
12, Next. 11, Generations. 10, Look into the Future. 9, Trial by Fire. 8, Infinity. 7, Raised on Radio. 6, Evolution. 5, Arrival. 4, Escape. Yeah, Kill Me Now. 3, Red 13. 2, Departure. The only one we agreed on.
The only album we agreed to.
And my number 1 was Frontiers. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And listen, I want to thank you so much for doing this.
It was fun, wasn't it?
No, it's a ton of fun. I told you it was going to be fun. I told you we'd have a lot of fun.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed our show. I mean, well, actually, Ben's show.
No, this one's ours.
Well, I don't want to say it's ours because my name's not up there. It's the Ben Maynard program. I'm not up there. But just the same, I appreciate being invited. I mean, it was something that I knew about and, enjoyed, over the years going to journey shows with you.
Yeah.
And just enjoying the music altogether. And if you guys don't know Journey by now, you never will then. I hope you guys ever go out there, go catch him in concert. Even with Arnel Pineda. He's been with them for 15 years, and he's doing a great job, I think.
Well, if they don't know Journey now, they're going to know after this, right?
Yep, they're going to definitely know.
So yeah, that I appreciate you being here, and that's gonna wrap it for this episode. Again, this program is available on multiple podcast outlets like Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and others. Again, you can just do a simple search, the Ben Maynard program, and you'll have multiple options to choose from. Choose your option. And of course, watch it right here on YouTube if you'd like. If you do, again, I'll ask you to please subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up and give Spaz a thumbs up too. Come on,
give me a thumbs up. I'm here.
Leave us a good comment. Leave us a comment or two. Come on now. We worked hard at this.
Even if we're wrong, I don't mind a bad comment if we're wrong. If we're wrong, okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
This wasn't supposed to be right or wrong anyway.
That's right. So last but not least, follow me on Instagram, simply Ben Maynard Program. With that, it's a wrap. We are done. This is the Ben Maynard Program. Tell a friend.